Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the spring or winter, however you want to say it, 2025 CEO webcast for Gold Belt Incorporated. I'm your president and CEO, McHugh Pierre. Thank you so much for being here today. If we missed you and I missed you in our in-person events, um, this is an opportunity for you to ask questions, to learn about where we're at, how we're doing, how 2024 ended, and what we look forward to in 2025. It's been a great year and it's been a great winter, and it could get better if we got some more snow, I think, so we could really enjoy some of those outdoor activities that we love. Although I'm sure all of you in Alaska really enjoy not shoveling as much as I do. Well, let's go to the next slide and we'll start with all of the great information. You know what to expect through this. We've done these before, and I look forward to taking your questions at the end um, of the presentation today. But we're going to talk about our opportunities, some of the financials, and make sure that you understand that our benefits are available and open. So, you know, you've got a lot of benefits here, and so I want to make sure that you know how to take advantage of them and capture them, because we work to create these benefits for you, and that's really the driving force behind all of our efforts at Gold Belt. Next slide, please. Our wonderful board of directors. I can't say enough great things about what they're doing for the company. Your board of directors has set us up with a strategic plan that has allowed us to maintain focus and discipline to create the success that we are achieving today. That is the foundation for how Gold Belt is going to grow through the next 5 years. We're going to continue to reflect on that plan, follow the leadership and the guidance that your board of directors provides to me and all of the employees at Gold Belt Inc. And we're going to create new levels of success because of that vision. So you know many of them. Some of them are on today, and it's just a real pleasure to work with this group of people, your owner representatives, the Gold Belt Board of Directors. Next slide, please. So we open up a lot of our meetings at Gold Belt Inc. with this slide, and I wanted to share it with you this year because I wanted you to see what we're talking about. This is updated from our November strategic planning session with the Gold Belt Inc. board and the executive management team. Our mission at Gold Belt is to make a positive impact in the lives of our owners. Our vision is to be a forever company that is a leader in business and community and creates generational wealth for our owners. Our values: we guide ourselves by Tlingit beliefs of integrity, respect, and service. We exercise an entrepreneurial spirit, and we emulate the gold standard, excellence, in everything that we do. And this is so critical for us to maintain our focus. So we apply this to our strategic plan. We apply this to our daily consideration of activities and events. And everything we do should stair step up to these goals through these mission, vision, value statements. And it helps us do a good job in all lines of business, whether it's commercial and tourism in Juneau or it's federal contracting somewhere around the world. Next slide, please. So here are the benefits and opportunities for you. And I can't stress this enough. We really want you to participate. We've put $495,000 as a contribution to the Gold Belt Heritage Foundation this year. We put $500,000 as a contribution to the Tanah Trust for all of our shareholder scholarships this year. That's a 20% increase. You're going to see that in a slide, or about a 25% increase from 2024. We want you to utilize these benefits. And if there are people who need more benefits or we have exhausted the source, we're going to work hard to show that and build more income to contribute to these things. We want all of our owners to feel like they have an opportunity to access these benefits and to advance their personal causes, whether it's growing in some place where you want to learn professionally or personally through new cultural classes or learning a new skill or trade. So it's really important that we do that. Next slide, please. Let's talk about some of those scholarships. This is from 2024. That's, just about $1 million in scholarships and cultural contributions that Gold Belt Inc. has given. And that's so cool. And we want to do more of it. So as you see how that kind of plays out, we want to increase those numbers. 57 people participating in the youth extracurricular scholarships. There's more room for that. Make sure your kids are shareholders. One share is enough, and then they can participate in all of this stuff. So I think that this is an important slide for us to focus on as far as the overall benefits are concerned, and how Gold Belt is focused on hitting that goal of 50% or greater for our net income being contributed to shareholder benefits on an annual basis. Next slide, please. And so here's what we have coming up for 2025. I talked about this, 500,000. The board of directors approved just a week ago on Friday. And this is where it goes to. So you've got higher education, you have level up, you have non-degree, you have youth. There are plenty of ways for people to enjoy and consume these. And we'd like you to consume it and share the message far and wide. We'd love for as many people as possible to participate. And one thing that we heard feedback about, and I wanted to highlight this for a second, we heard some feedback that our scholarship portal is a bit cumbersome. Difficult, maybe, is a better word. Please don't let that stop you from accessing these benefits. If it's giving you a hard time, call our office. We will walk you through it. We will help you get these benefits. We want to help you receive all of these benefits that you deserve as owners. We're also working on bringing in a new system there that is a little more user-friendly, so that way you don't have problems in the future. But I wanted you to know that we've heard your feedback, and we know that this is an area where we can improve, and we're going to work to improve that as quick as possible. Next slide, please. So internships, this is critical. Like, we have a deadline for this, but there are so many intern employment opportunities at Gold Belt. Not only do we pay very well, it's an opportunity for you to learn in your field of training, or maybe in a new field you want to have exposure to. But think about this from a kind of sky is the limit perspective. It's not just in Juneau, it's at job sites around the country where we have people working. We do medical research with the CDC, with Department of Army medical research there. We have cybersecurity opportunities. We do all kinds of different stuff. We have special forces training. We do some really neat things. Construction, of course, tourism, and there's the things that you would normally expect, like working in shareholder services or HR or accounting. So please pursue this, and we give additional scholarships for our interns. So if you have a young person who is looking for a way to grow and learn more about what career they'd like to pursue, we have opportunities for them. We would love to take as many interns as possible. I think we've had 15 interns before. We'd love to get that up to 20, 25. Share the word, but remember, our deadline is March 28th. It's easiest to place people if we have their information before the deadline for internships. If you miss the deadline, still reach out. We want to try to position people against opportunities for them to learn and grow in each of our subsidiaries, but please try to do it before the deadline. Next slide, please. So what is our strategic future at Gold Belt? There's been a lot of stuff in the news about the Trump administration and changes that they're making, and in review and approach to different things. Gold Belt's strength is in our ability to adapt. It's our diversified approach to business and government contracting. It's our resilience, and it's our commitment to growth and innovation. What we do from a business perspective allows us to remain successful through chaos and uncertainty. We perform high skill work for our customers. We're not just doing something that anybody can do. I think about mowing the lawn. When I was a kid, I could mow the lawn. Why was I any different than someone else mowing the lawn? That's not what we do at Gold Belt. We do things that are high skill, that take special people, and we are a proven contractor. So that's really important too. So we're looking at ways where we can continue to invest and be diverse. So that way, we have not all of our eggs in one basket. We already have a diverse portfolio in federal contracting. That's good, but it's also a lot of our businesses in federal contracting. So we want to have more of a spread with our commercial business lines, where we can have growth in those areas, where we can kind of offset our reliance on any one area, because we know that the only certainty in the future is uncertainty. you can't predict. You can build consistency, and there are going to be things that impact you. So we want to insulate Gold Belt from really high highs and really low lows, right? We want to maintain that dependable approach to business. That way we can produce results for you on a regular basis. The other thing that really sets us apart is our focus on strengthening our community and making economic impact here locally. So we are taking that money that we're making from all around the world through federal contracting and deploying it and investing it here in Juneau to provide an opportunity to lift everybody up in our community, and especially provide job opportunities and business opportunities for our owners to build around and have consistent and strength around it. So I've seen some questions come in, and I want to stop to talk about our federal contracting for a second. There's some confusion around federal contracting in the 8A program. And I talked to a lot of people, our members of Congress, all kinds of folks about, what is the 8A program and how does that impact us? Well, first and foremost, we are 8A through an act of Congress, right? The Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, we've been created through that. And for the president to stop that, to change that, will take an act of Congress. That doesn't mean that the contracts we hold cannot be paused or terminated for convenience, right? Anybody's can. But we're not a grantee. And that's something that we've talked about, that I've talked about at previous shareholder meetings. Our status as a business is we compete to win work, and then we perform that work. And because we perform that work excellently, we've won new contracts. And so when you look at our business profile as a federal contractor, we are a skilled, sought after, professional federal contractor, not just an 8A certified contractor. So the majority of our work is competitively won. More than 80% of our contracts are competitively won. So when you talk about the status of the program and the intent of the program to create a professional standalone business that has all of the skill sets that another professional business would have, we have accomplished that, and we have done it very well. So when you look at how the 8A program might be changed or impacted, do we want that to happen? Absolutely not, because we want to focus on making sure that our treaty, the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, is honored and upheld. So we've been proactive working with folks in the administration to make sure that they understand that, and we don't want any unnecessary impacts to us or to slow down our business. We have had a little bit of business slowdown, but it is so small. It's the equivalent of taking the afternoon off of work one day, and that's our total monthly impact for revenue. So it's like you took 3 hours off next Tuesday and without pay. That's the similar type of impact that we've had at Gold Belt for the Trump administration's review of existing contracts to see how they are matching up to the new administration's priorities and policies. So we're excited to get through this phase of analysis. Every administration does this. It's just not as public. So we feel very confident that we have the opportunity to grow this business, to improve our contract position and gain work through this process, because no one can be more effective and efficient at providing services than Gold Belt. We have professionals. We can do it quickly. We can do it correctly. And we're expecting to build our federal footprint through this process. Next slide, please. So our revenue, we're projecting, we budgeted $543 million in revenue this year for 2025. We finished 2024 at $535 million. That's before the audit, of course. And we'll have audited financials that come out in April, like we always do. That's really positive. It's strong for us. Our services business is continuing to grow at a steady pace. And you can see that curve in our growth in revenue. It essentially mirrors our services contract expansion. We had that spike in 2021 from our product sales, needles and syringes, COVID test kits, that kind of stuff, PPE around COVID. And we knew that was a one-time hit. So we took that knowing that we needed to leverage our position to continue to grow and build our services business. And we have done so with predictability. And I'm very proud of everyone for doing that. Next slide, please. And so here's our net income chart is very similar. So we ended the year in 2024 with 31.6 million in net income, which is the highest net income ever for Gold Belt Inc. And we were projecting a budget of 28 million in net income for 2025. That's, obviously we want to work to make that higher, but it's prudent that we are, reflective of our environment. If something changes and we have more work that we lose through this, government review process, we're prepared to weather that storm. But we're being honest with ourselves, and we're being honest with you too. So I'm pleased about this, and I think that we're going to have another great year in 2025. Next slide, please. Our ancestral trust is continuing to make achievements. It's over $36 million in principal right now. The total trust value is about 37 million, which is fantastic. We are on track to make the first distribution in the trust history this spring in 2025. And so the process for that is going to be, we're going to go through the audit. It will be determined what is income. And then the advisors, the financial advisors will advise the board of trustees on what is a sustainable amount that can be produced for a distribution. And so we're super excited for that process to take place. And after the audit is completed in April, we expect to make a distribution, probably in the May timeframe. So we're very excited to make that happen. As you remember, in 2014, when this trust was approved by you, there was projections that it wouldn't make its first payout until 100 years, 99 years later, right? And so we've taken this opportunity at Gold Belt to make more money and come into more income to endow our benefits. And that's so critical. Endowing our benefits will allow that insulation between annual business performance and consistency of delivering benefits to you, every year. And so we see this as a spring distribution from the trust, and then a fall distribution from operations. And as operations does well, those distributions continue to perform well. Let's go to the next slide and talk about some of that. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at a roughly $5 distribution from the Ancestral Trust this year. It could be $4.75, so we'll see how it works, but about $5 is what we're looking at. And we're excited for this to continue to grow. The trust agreement and the bylaws mandate that this is a sustainable fund and the principal is not touched through distributions. So that means you're going to reinvest every year, and with reasonable growth in the fund, you're going to see that distribution number slightly increase every year moving forward, so long as the business or the investment fund performs in a reasonable way. Next slide, please. And so here's what we talked about for the last year and a half. We talked about the importance of having a distribution policy. Now your Gold Belt Board of Directors approved that distribution policy for operations, and that's a 5-year average of net income. So it takes the last 4 years plus the projected current year. You take an average of that, and then you multiply it by 20. And that gives you the amount that we believe is an achievable amount to pay regardless of business performance. So we weather ups and downs, and you get a consistent, dependable distribution. And we talked about $17 a share. And I remember when we first talked about this, a lot of shareholders came up to me and said, McHugh, that's pretty crazy. Are you sure about that? Like, you feel confident? What did we do in November? $17.16. We did it. We can do it. And with consistent, performance, discipline to our plan, we are going to hit these numbers. And I put this up here to show you. We said we were going to do it. We did it, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to stick to the plan. So we're looking at a $19 distribution in 2025 from operations. And so, if you're eligible to receive contributions or distributions rather from the Ancestral Trust and Gold Belt Inc., you're looking at a $24 distribution per share this year. And that's something that we are so proud of. And we want to continue to make sure that we work hard to be able to achieve these numbers for you. Next slide, please. And so, we're in that season now where the board of director elections begins. February 10th is the candidate acceptance period. It's open. Our next date for that is March 14th. Candidate accepted period closes. And then we have our record date on the 13th of May. And then, we have our proxy deadline for voting on July 10th. Of course, vote early so you get that proxy incentive as quickly as possible. And then our annual meeting is going to be on July 12th, our 51st annual meeting of shareholders. So we are so pumped to report and build the annual report for our 50th year. It's pretty cool that our 50th year of existence also was our highest net income year of all time. So we're so proud of that. And we're just very pleased with the operational stability that we have at Gold Belt. Next slide, please. And so here's some more important dates. The office is closed on Monday for Elizabeth Baratovich Day. And then, we have some higher education scholarship deadlines, March 15th. Don't forget, we'll be at Gold Medal, March 24th through 28th. And then our internship deadline is March 28th. And we have Shareholder Appreciation Day at the Tram, March 3rd. That's important for us to know. Like we've usually done this in August, but May 3rd for Appreciation Day at the Tram. We've normally done it in August, but it's really congested and busy with visitors, and it hasn't been as smooth for you as we would like it. So we're going to do it in May, and you're going to help us train up staff and just go through some of the motions there. So come on up, have some lunch, hang out, enjoy the opportunity, and we're just really appreciative of seeing you at the Tram that day. Next slide, please. So, here are some of the highlights of what we do in person at these meetings. We have different booths around the room where people are able to, learn about career opportunities, really understand and dive into the resources that you have as a shareholder. And we also go through Gold Belt's mission, of course. You get to talk with members of the executive team, with me, with Gold Belt directors, and it's just a fun time to fellowship with everyone. We also invite our community partners, and I want to give a big shout out to the BIA, Clinton-Haida Central Council. We had Big Brothers Big Sisters. We had Coeur, Alaska there, which was really cool, Kensington Mine. They have a lot of job opportunities for our people if you're interested. And of course, all of the heritage institutes, Sealaska Heritage, Gold Belt Heritage. We had Sealaska Corporation attend as well. And so this is really an opportunity for you to connect with a bunch of different organizations that you may be a part of to help guide you through anything that you're working on in the moment. So we really encourage you to come in person. But if you can't, this is a great way to get connected electronically. And we hope that you continue to use the mygoldbelt.com portal to share and learn as much as you can and process different paperwork for Gold Belt. Next slide, please. So, of course, the highlight, I think it's question and answer, but you probably think it's door prizes. So we have 5 $100 door prize winners, and I'd love to announce those right now. So the first door prize winner, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Maria Contreras. You won $100. Congratulations. Nick Lekanoff, my man, you won $100. Congratulations. Walter Bennett, you won $100. Congratulations. Krista Lott, you also won a $100 door prize. And last but not least, Faith Contreras, you won $100. Thank you so much for participating in this. Now it's time for Q&A, my favorite part of the meeting. And so let me read. So Mary Marks, you asked about some of the questions there about the executive orders and the contract review, and I think I answered some of those earlier. Let me look through some of the other questions. Richard Knott, you asked how many of our companies can remain profitable and competitive if we lose 8A status. That's great. So, we have more than 30 subsidiaries. We have about 35 subsidiaries right now, and all but 2 of them were profitable according to our budget. We understood that one was going to be in the negative, but it's because we run some of our investments through that for real estate and stuff. And so we expected to have a loss there. But that is very strong. We are in a very strong position, and all of our businesses are competitive and winning work without the 8A program, without a direct award certificate. So that really separates us from an ANC that might rely on that burn and churn that you hear about. Like an ANC may start up a new 8A business, rely only on direct awards, and after its 9-year window of eligibility, it shuts that business down and restarts. We don't do that at Gold Belt. We operate businesses through the longevity of their life cycle. We have a couple businesses that are 20 years old that are still profitable and still going concerns. They're very successful. So we've done everything we can about how we build and create a business to outlast any type of special designation that would prohibit us from working into the future. Randall Johnson asked, how's Trump trying to remove citizenship to American Indians going to affect the ANCSA Corps? I don't know a lot about that. I'm not sure that that's true, or if it's some kind of a urban legend. I just don't know. Right now, I know that we are heavily engaged making sure that the laws of Congress and the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act are not misinterpreted, and that they are fully honored. And so that's our priority. And I don't think, I guess, let me say it this way. There's a lot of excitement to make a shock, right? That the Trump administration will say, oh, wow, watch out, and then walk it back. And really, that's not what is ever acted on. So I expect a lot of this stuff to simmer down. We want to maintain a calm at Gold Belt so we can be that rock, and we can continue to work through any of this uncertainty to build a stronger Gold Belt and a stronger community as a result of that. Mary Marks asked again, how is Gold Belt Heritage Foundation going to keep moving forward in various programs offered? I don't know about that. That's unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you. I know that a lot of our tribal organizations or heritage organizations are grant funded, and this is an opportunity for us as a community to create new streams of revenue so we can build a stronger business. Sovereignty is really established when you have financial independence, and if we can pay for ourselves without having to receive any grants, that goes a long way. So it's our opportunity to work together and build each other up and hold each other up to continue to produce the results that you deserve and you expect from your organizations. Shania Murphy, you asked, has Gold Belt looked into investing and learning about giant Pacific kelp? Yeah, we have, for agriculture fertilizer. We have looked into kelp farming, specifically at Hobart Bay, because we've got really great currents there. We have state tideland leases already in permitted and approved. We have docks there. So it's something that we have been considering. It's just a question of what is the actual market for purchasing. There's a lot of talk about it and there's excitement about kelp, but there's not a lot of buyers for kelp. So it has to be something that we see a very clear return on investment for. Our biggest challenge at Gold Belt is not opportunities, it's about capital. We have a limited amount of cash that we can use, so we have to be very selective to make the best returns for the investment on that cash. And that's what we're focused on as a board, as an executive team, and adhering to that strategic plan to produce the strongest and most consistent results for you as owners. Rebecca Haley asked, would Gold Belt consider a spring and a fall dividend like Sea Alaska? Yeah, actually, I kind of talked about that in the dividend breakdown. That's exactly what we're trying to do with the Ancestral Trust. So we have different pots of money. We have an investment pot in the Ancestral Trust, and then we have an operations pot from GBI businesses, and that investment or that distribution is paid out through the Tanah Distributions Trust in the fall. So we have investment monies that pay out in the spring and operational monies that pay out in the fall, and we're really excited to maintain that and build that up, especially in light of the impending drop off of the natural resource revenue sharing money. That's 7I and 7J money. We know that in 8 years or so, that money is going to significantly dry up. And so how can we help fill that void for you? That's what you get. A big part of your check from Sea Alaska as an urban corporation member is that 7I, 7J money. It does not go to Gold Belt Inc. That does not ever touch our company. It goes directly to you from the regional, from Sea Alaska. So as that number starts to shrink, we want to make sure that we can help fill that number up. And it's not going to be a $1-for-$1 situation, but we're going to do our best to continue to build a strong endowment so you can get a consistent benefit. Randall Johnson asked, how are Trump's tax changes to tribal entities going to affect Gold Belt and all Inc. Corps? We're taxed as a business. And so, the thing that we're looking at is that percentage. How do we manage that, and how do we lessen it? We don't want to pay taxes because we want to give that money to you as much as possible. But we also understand that we're going to have to pay more taxes when we save more money to make bigger investments in commercial businesses. So there's a real give and take there, and we have to thread the needle with the board, of course, to identify, what is our strategic goal and how do we measure that. Having the trusts are a really important way for us to mitigate taxes. We pay less taxes by contributing to our trusts. And when they make distributions, you don't pay income tax on that. So that's really important too. So, we balance that appropriately, and we don't think that our taxes are going to go up. But we used up all of our net operating losses from timber. As you remember, I started talking about that a few years ago. So we know that we have to use these trusts to make the most favorable use of our cash for you on your behalf. Mary Marks asks, what new business ventures or changes in our hometown for our shareholders and our tribal citizens? What are we pursuing? Well, I think the biggest thing that we're pursuing is our opportunity to build a cruise ship terminal on our Angsta land on Douglas Island. The fact that we have a customer who's willing to dock with us if a facility is built says a lot, and it really is that kind of anchor customer that we need to make a big development. And what we envision with a big development like that is, something that you can build businesses around. So you can work for Gold Belt there, but you can also, have a tour company or do something that provides services there, whether it's, plumbing, electrical work, stuff that you would normally do to support a facility. But we're really excited about that. And we believe that, this is going to be a big project, $350 million type project. So it's significant. It'll make a big investment, and it'll really provide opportunities, not just from the construction piece, but all the way through for decades and decades to come. And it will allow Gold Belt to utilize other parts of its Angsta land on Douglas Island, to really, bring to fruition some of those designs and desires, dreams even, that you all built in the 90s. And so I'm pretty excited for this. And I think this is going to be a big anchor in Southeast Alaska for economic development in the future and economic opportunity for our people. Randall Johnson asked, how does Trump's reversal of DEI made any changes or impacts to Gold Belt? It hasn't impacted us at all. Like I said before, we're really not a DEI organization per se. We are a Native organization, and we are acknowledged through congressional law, and that's not something that an executive order can easily impact. So that doesn't mean we've been silent. I want you to know that very clearly. We have been engaging to make sure that the Trump folks know that we are part of the solution, not part of the problem. And we are willing to work hard to demonstrate that and continue to build our business and provide benefits to our owners, to you. Let's see. Nick Lekanoff asks, curious about seasonal housing for Gold Belt Tram employees for the summer. Yeah, Nick, we've been working on building seasonal housing. We bought a building downtown where Wells Fargo's at, and it's the positive cash flow. It's doing great. And the idea is that we would put seasonal housing on top of that building on the third floor. And we're running into some cost issues around that, where it's more expensive to develop than we originally anticipated. And so we're taking a look to see, if it would be smart for us to deploy that cash in a different location, maybe concurrently with our cruise terminal development. We'd like to have seasonal housing there as well. That could be year-round housing for our owner employees. That way we have more people present, and we just have an opportunity to deter any type of mischief that might happen out there at our development. So we're looking at that. The good news is that the Gold Belt Tram has been staffed at its pre-pandemic levels in 2024, and we're looking to do the same thing in 2025. So that's terrific for us, and it means that our people are working and we have more locals working for us. So that's really good, and we know that that is subject to change, but our first priority is hiring locals, hiring our people to work, and I think we're doing a good job of that. And then lastly, Leah Williams asks, I hear luxury cruise ships will be coming to Alaska in 2026. It would be great for Gold Belt to work towards influencing the cruise ships to build cruise ship staff housing to relieve the impact of housing shortages. Alternatively, can Gold Belt build cruise ship staff housing? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's what we're looking at is there's all kinds of visitor industry housing. And if we can build more housing associated with our project, it will allow for us to have a very positive experience. It'll alleviate local congestion, and that's important, right? If it's easier for us to have housing here and you don't see as much stuff used for short-term rentals, not that that's the biggest issue, but it's something that is really important for us to address. So we're cognizant of that, and we're looking to see how we can make the cruise tourism a positive element of our community and our economy for a long time. I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this. That's the only sector of our economy that's growing. Southeast Conference met in Juneau this week, and there was an economic breakdown, and tourism and those visitor industry jobs are the highest number of full-time equivalent jobs in our region. It's also the highest paying, the total dollar amount. So I mean, we have a lot of opportunities here to build something that we can really count on and make sustainable. But without our voice in doing it correctly, there's an opportunity for it not be done correctly. So I'm proud of what we're doing at Gold Belt. I'm proud of how you are vocal in the community, and we want to always represent you in the most positive light. So that was it. No more questions. I just want to say it's a real pleasure and a privilege to work for you. Gold Belt has an extremely bright future, and we are excited to represent you and perform and produce results for you. Look forward to seeing you around the town, and continue to write in if you have any questions. Have a great afternoon.